Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I promised you the great minds of the marketing world, and in studio I'm joined by one such. Her name is Phathiswa Sefatswa. She's the brand executive for marketing over at the Clicks Group, and she joins us in our studio at Style ID Africa's Business of Influence podcast. Phathiswa, thank you
You
so
are
much for joining
very
us.
kind words.
Well,
Thank you.
I mean, it's very easy when the subject is leaning, we were having a chat, and I'm so excited to see how the look of marketers seems to have changed. So much of us have always been very stressed and fuddy-duddy, and you seem
Yes.
to embody the new marketers. That's something you've done deliberately.
Yes, actually, because it's brand marketing, I think what and how I show up as a brand executive is very important.
Yeah.
So I have a hashtag on my LinkedIn with an executive in All Stars.
Yes.
I go to the boardroom wearing my All Stars.
Yeah.
But I don't need to be in heels.
Yeah.
I don't need to be in a suit. My brain is actually what is my superpower. And I want young girls, young Black girls, to see which they can be themselves and show up as their true self and still be brilliant at it. Am I stressed? God, yes, I am. I'm very stressed. I'm very glad to be away from the office and just doing something different other than selling toilet paper.
Listen, which we appreciate, and the specials are something we personally look out for. I'm interested though because you show up as yourself in your all stars, authentically yourself. But the IMC this year has banned under the banner of marketing is business, and for a long time, marketing wasn't seen as part of the C-suite in the business world.
Yeah.
Do you think that's changing?
Yeah, definitely it's changing. But I think, marketing has always been big business. It's just the perception of everyone else that sits in the boardroom hasn't taken that seriously.
Yeah.
So if you think about some of the biggest brands in the world, it's really marketing that you know about them.
Yeah.
I mean, they might be in the States, they might be in China, I mean, K Beauty at the moment, which is all Korea, but we know about it. That's really marketing, right? And it drives the bottom line.
Absolutely.
So I'm an old school marketer, FMCG. And in that world, I needed to know my P&L. I need to know what drives my bottom line, what levers I need to pull in the income statement, what needs to balance in the balance sheet. So I've always understood numbers. And it's just now that the perception is changing that, oh, these marketing people are not just a pie in the sky,
fussy
clouds thing. They actually do make business sense. So marketing has always been business. I'm just glad they're realizing it now.
And they're realizing that we're not just their support function.
Yes.
And you're actually part of the C-suite, an integral member of the team.
And we drive strategy, and we have to co-write the strategy with everyone else that sits in the boardroom.
I'm interested to find out from you, in this world where we've got such fast-moving targets, the mind share and the attention share of our audiences is so short, especially when you're marketing to them. And then there's the advent of social media and influencer marketing.
Yeah.
Do you think at some point the oversaturation will get to a point where we're losing the brands in the noise?
I mean, for me, that makes my job as a marketer even that much more interesting, right? Because then I have to be able to build a brand that is so strong that it stands and rises above the noise, that is memorable. I mean, one of the speakers today was speaking about consistency, and I think that is so important, and knowing your true north as a brand.
Yeah.
So if you know what you stand for and what you represent as a brand, and you're consistent in that, so the times will evolve and the target market changes in terms of what they like.
Yeah.
But your trueness and stays, and this is what brings true staying power.
Yeah.
So it's challenging, but it's definitely a challenge that I think as marketers we should look forward to.
Talking about challenges, you're now working at the intersection of AI, of influence marketing, of social media is coming in, things are going and trending for 5 seconds and disappearing. Are you finding it more difficult now to sell products, especially in retail spaces?
Yeah.
Because as you know, online is much quicker. Everything is sort of challenging the traditional norms of what marketing used to be?
You know, I always, and again, I'm gonna go back to Wuti. I'm an old school marketer. So the beauty of, I mean, we're doing a podcast now, right? But we're calling it a podcast.
Yes.
But in the olden days in Zanzi, SABC One,
Yeah.
it's a talk show.
The talk
right?
show.
It's
We're on a talk show.
We are talking. We're having a conversation. We've just packaged it differently,
Absolutely.
right? Streaming is radio. Which, you know, commercial radio stations playing music, right? So we've packaged things a little bit differently, but if you go back to the basics are still the same. Customers want to be spoken to. They wanted to be collaborated with. The original influencers were the radio DJs.
Yes.
Were the Achimorokas of the world, the celebrities. They just now have Instagram, and it's easily accessible. So it's changing, but it really isn't. You know, so it's about how you adapt and you know, to the customer. Our job as retailers is, it's changing so fast.
So quickly, I think
You
we're
know?
even struggling to keep up at
Yes,
sometimes.
it's and you know, our customers are constantly making content. You're just like, okay, is this now the hot new thing? Do we follow it? But if you know what your strategy is and what you're trying to do, it's also easy to say, actually, that's not for me. That's not what we do. That's not what we're about. This is where we're going.
I'm interested to find out. You say you are an old school marketer, but what do you see as the role of what we do? It's, you know, in the influence marketing space. Because, you know, I was listening to someone a couple of days ago saying that we're now at a point where the traditional mediums are sort of fighting for attention share, because the now influencer has these deep communities that they talk to, and for you to access them, you need to access the influencer. I'm just to hear from you about where do you see that relationship between the traditional and now this new emergent and seemingly quite powerful medium being social media marketing.
It's I mean, maybe I don't like the word influencer,
Yeah.
and I call you guys or the young ones people of influence.
People of influence.
Right? Because influence just seems so
Yeah.
When you say someone of influence, you've got that ability to really change someone's behavior and influence in terms of how they do. So I like it. I love the nano influencers, call it. They have built their own communities that, as a traditional person, media, TV, I'd never be able to find that, right? And Instagram says I can go find someone in KwaZulu-Natal, in Kandla, who's got a big following. And when I suddenly sell vitamins through them, or they talk about how they're taking their vitamins, the community or his or her community starts listening.
Yeah.
That's powerful, right?
Really
It's nothing that I would have had 10, 20 years ago. So it's about tapping into that and actually realizing that it's not a fight. It's actually how we collaborate, right, with traditional media and the new ways of marketing. If you look at radio and some of what the radios we've been able to do with our radio stations, is the power of radio is still there. But now the radio DJs are also influencers.
Yeah.
So how when they're busy on radio, how are they shooting their content? How does our brand show up? So it starts working as an omni-channel versus just the different channels on their own.
I'm interested to find out, you know, you make the point that if you know your strategy, you'll be okay, wherever the wind blows. And I'm interested to find out, how do we then, you know, if we put a little window into the Clicks group and what your strategy is, especially because, you know, it seems that consumers are now looking for the long-term storytelling. You know, gone are the days where a quick ad would suffice with the specials, but they want to almost be evangelical. They want to be a friend. You want them to have brand loyalty.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is twofold. One, what does brand loyalty look like now when you've got all these many options? And secondly, from a strategy point of view, how do you make sure that you keep them loyal through the storytelling that they can resonate with?
So, I mean, loyalty is a very interesting thing that we are passionate about at Clicks. We've got the Clicks Club card, which turned 30 this year. So the longest living loyalty card. And that's something that we're really proud of, right?
Absolutely.
We've seen a lot of brands come up with loyalty cards. And for us, it's not just about discounting, right? It's about, you know, it's the one of the most used cards.
Yes.
So if I were to ask anyone in this room and ask them if they've got their Clicks Club card, actually, then we were able to whip
Do
it
you
out.
have your okay? Yeah, do you have a
Exactly.
okay?
Look, see people
At
nodding,
least the
right?
crew has their
It's one of the most used. It's loyalty, right? Yes, we'll give you discounts and all that. But I'm currently embarking on a trying to understand the youth a little bit better.
Yeah.
I've got a 20-year-old who at most times I don't understand.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, this market is very interesting, but it's my future market, right? And one of the questions that I posed to the guys that are helping us is, I define loyalty as a 40 plus very differently to what my daughter defines it,
Absolutely.
or what a 25-year-old defines it. So please go find out, what does loyalty actually mean to the different segments, so that I can tap into that and be able to talk to them in the language that they understand,
Absolutely.
right? So loyalty is changing, and it's different for everyone. For some people, it's a discount. For someone, it's you must know what I'm doing at every point in time because
Yes.
you've got my data.
Yes.
Then I'm going to be loyal to you. But we need to understand that it's clicks at different points so that we can talk to a very vast target market.
Especially because your target market is, multi-generational,
Listen.
multi-demographic.
Yeah. Listen. And your second question.
And the idea then of inputting that in your long-term storytelling,
yes.
so that when you tell the story, they can still resonate with it
Yes.
long-term.
So I mean, we in celebrating this 30th birthday, we had our customers, so we went back to our our database and we found out all these customers, and we found a lady who got her club card at 16. She says she was not allowed to, you can only get it at 18, but she got it at 16 years old.
Oh wow.
And she says the reason she got it is her mom used to go with her to Clicks, and now she's got a daughter that she takes to Clicks, and that's building a brand over time. That's us like taking you with us in the different times and seeing that through the generations, and Clicks being very consistent in what we're saying. So when we started, it was you pay less as Clicks. Everybody knows that. We are now Clicks feel good, pay less, right? Because we brought in pharmacy. But we're very consistent in that. We are about value and we keep telling the story. So yes, you will see the product and price on toilet paper, but you know that when you're sick, you can come into our pharmacies, you can go into our clinics. So we build the story and take you along with us.
Yeah, and really, it really does form part of the family.
Yes.
When you're looking for something, I recently had an incident where I need to get something for a throat infection. And the first thought was, well, every mall has a Clicks and every Clicks has a pharmacy. So I can go into it.
Yes.
Maybe in closing then, Phathiswa, I'm interested to find out, where do you think this market of ours is going in sort of the next 3 to 5 years? You say you're a traditional old school marketer, but you've seen, marketing change, sometimes even yearly.
Yeah, definitely.
Where do you think in the next sort of 3 to 5 years we'll see this industry going?
Different, but the same, right? Different in terms of the tools of what we have, in terms of how we talk to our customers. So I'm an old school marketer, but I'm a nerd. I love data, so being able to tell stories and being creative through data is very important, and being able to measure things that I do with my team is super important. So the tools that now we as a team have to do that and do it quickly is amazing. So we can see when you went for your throat infection, this is what you bought. But actually, we also know that you like buying lip stuff. So let's actually tell you about all the lips. I see you can you can buy this is new from a lips perspective. You cut your hair, this is so we can personalize and start talking to you in very different ways, and that's what innovation and what is going to change the game really, really incredibly. But at the end of the day, we're still talking to people.
And there are people.
Right? So that stays the same. I need to find a way as a brand to be able to connect to you, to find out what moves you. So those insights on human behavior will not change, but probably just get deepened with all the technology that we have.
And we look forward to 30 more years of the Clicks Group. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for joining us, Phathiswa.
Thanks,
That is
Leroy.
Phathiswa Sefatswa. She is she's the executive brand at the Clicks Group, and chatting everything about keeping loyalty for your club card and making sure you get the toilet paper at
Are
that
you
premium.
listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.